Good evening. I'm Karen Lee from Concordia University, Psychology. So I did my doctoral work at U of T on aging and memory. And Toronto's Annex neighborhood was my stomping ground. And back in the 90s, I have this memory of cycling past a shop, it's not too far away, called the Anti-Aging Shop. It was in the very same block as a nursing home. Imagine. I remember enjoying the irony of that juxtaposition, so much so that that memory really stuck with me. And it makes me think of our fascination with struggling against aging. Anti-against. I wonder about the deeper implications of the term anti-aging, though. What can we disrupt in thinking about aging? Have attitudes about aging really changed that much? We've all been bombarded with new stories about the aging tsunami. Note, tsunami rarely signals a happy occasion. In 2016, for the first time, Canada's seniors outnumber our children. So there's anxiety about Canada's readiness for this demographic shift. We worry about pensions. We worry about growing healthcare burden. We worry about our own aging process and threats to our own autonomy. So let's focus on that last point, our own individual aging process. Coming from psychology, my focus of research is the individual. And in the early days of research in psychology and aging, we focused a lot on describing the changes that normally occur with the passage of time in terms of memory, attention, brain function. These abilities, it turns out, they peak in the 20s, enjoy a brief plateau, and then gradually decline. Please don't shoot the messenger. It's a pretty bleak forecast, to be sure, but it gets better. A more recent approach, and one that's guided my research, is to focus on optimal aging. The optimal aging approach doesn't strive to reverse the aging process or view aging as a failure. Instead, we seek to optimize mental and physical functioning by finding ways to adapt or compensate in the face of decline. So what can we do as individuals to optimize aging? So my students and I study the benefits of exercise, computerized cognitive training with seniors age 65 and up. And we've shown that these interventions can maintain or even improve brain health and cognition. And through these changes, we can also improve one's balance in walking. Why? Well, it turns out that exercising the brain to improve the body works because the neural circuits associated with high-level cognitive processing are increasingly engaged when we walk and balance in old age. Through this intervention work and other studies on successful retirement, we have also looked at a measure we call need for cognition or motivation for cognitive challenge. Motivation for cognitive challenge is about enjoying an activity or a hobby that's challenging you mentally and seeking out these challenges in our everyday routines, in our leisure activities. So in one study, we found that seniors who report enjoying mental challenges like learning new skills, solving puzzles, attending concerts or events, talks like the one you're all at, decline less on a common test of cognitive health. But if you don't see yourself as such an intellectual keener, don't despair. In our training research, seniors who reported lower motivation for mental challenges improved more from our training interventions than those who are already very active. In other words, spontaneously challenging yourself or signing up to have someone else challenge you is beneficial. Challenge can also occur earlier in life. A recent study from Concordia University showed that assembly line workers who were switched from station to station more often in their careers showed better brain health and cognitive performance in old age than those who stayed at the same station. A different study from Scotland showed that levels of midlife leisure activity predicted later cognitive fitness in the 70s and 80s. So think of how many middle-aged adults make time to pursue multiple hobbies. It's hard. Most of us are very short on extra time or energy after our usual obligations are met. It's pajama time, right? Returning to the question of what we can do to optimize aging, the common thread in all of this research is challenge. To align with tonight's theme, we can call it personal disruption. So for me, optimizing aging is about disrupting the status quo. We don't reap the same benefits from our gym workout without raising the bar once in a while. Likewise, we don't reap the benefits of mental stimulation if we stick to the same routine. So inviting novelty into our routines, pushing ourselves out of our comfort zone, is beneficial to cognitive and brain health. On a community level, the provision of stimulating and accessible community programs could have a large positive impact on our collective cognitive health. At a broader societal level, disrupting the status quo can mean disrupting attitudes about aging. I'm pretty sure that anti-aging shop is still around. But denying or fearing the aging process is unproductive. I leave you with a quote from B.F. Skinner, the noted behavioral psychologist, who said on the topic of aging, "To develop is not simply to grow older, but to unfold a latent structure, to realize an inner potential, and to become more effective." Motivation, challenge, and novelty. How are you going to optimize your aging? Thank you.